your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters because this podcast takes tokens.
Hello and welcome to This Podcast Takes Tokens. I am your co-host Ryan, joined by my excellent brother Derek. How you doing, man?
Hey, good. Excellent. Legendary this week.
Yes. So, we're recording this on February 15th,
yes,
day after Valentine's Day. So I've got something that I want to show you. It's going to take just a little bit of background information first real quick. So my wife, Mindy, several years ago, I was looking for something to get her for Valentine's Day. She's a school teacher and she teaches history. And so I was looking through things. She's just notoriously hard to buy for. And I was like, I want to see if they got any history bobbleheads. I was looking through there, and her favorite president is Teddy Roosevelt. So I got her a Teddy Roosevelt bobblehead. I gave it to her for Valentine's Day, and she absolutely loved it.
Nice.
So every Valentine's Day since then, I get her some sort of a history bobblehead, and it's gotten to the point now where I've got to have her, text me a picture of what she's got so I don't get her doubles or anything like that.
Thing.
Yes, exactly. And her students love seeing them and everything. So this year I gave her a Dwight Eisenhower one. And so she hands me my Valentine's Day gift, and it is...
Oh, that's awesome.
So for those listening here and you can't see it, it is Gizmo from Gremlins bobblehead, and he's coming out of this box. Yeah, that Billy's dad brings him home in. He's peeking out. It's super cute.
I highly encourage you to look this up. This is really cool.
Yes. So kudos to my wife. She always knocks it out of the park for Valentine's Day. But I thought you'd enjoy seeing that. So anyway, did you guys have a good Valentine's Day? Everything go okay? Do you do anything special for that, or?
Same as every year. We ignore Valentine's Day. It doesn't happen.
Okay.
We treat the kids, and that's about it. We're not Valentine's Day. Like I told her in the beginning, I love you every day out of the year. I don't need a day special dedicated to it. So
yeah, right.
We don't really. I've never done Valentine's Day. We don't do Valentine's Day.
Man. Okay. That's all right. That's all right. Okay. So talked about last week. We did TMNT. This week we're going to go back to 1986, I believe. The original Legend of Zelda for the NES.
That's right.
Played through it. And, I didn't play all the way through it.
I was about to say, wow.
I tried, man. I tried. And then life got in the way. And I
definitely couldn't put it down after I started it up again this week.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm gonna get in some of this and and just kind of get as far as I can. And like you're saying, I got to playing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun.
Where did you play it? What did you play it on?
So I played it on the Switch.
Okay.
Yep.
I was looking for this guy here.
Oh my gosh, you got the Game & Watch.
I got the Game & Watch.
Yes.
And then I finally found it the other day, but it wasn't charged, so I ended up playing it on my Switch. But now it's charged, and I can play it over. I have it at my desk, and I play it at my desk sometimes.
So it has a rechargeable battery in it? I haven't actually seen those. Okay.
It's got a little USB-C port on it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's got Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and then a little clock that'll run.
Yeah.
But it's pretty neat.
That's neat. Yeah. I've seen a bunch of those. They had, I think, the Didn't they have Mario
too.
And, yeah.
But it was just the first Mario. And like, I think they should have packaged the first 3 Marios in it, but they only did the first one.
Yeah.
But nah, that's a different podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I played it on Switch. I've got the original like NES cartridge that you gave me, actually. But my NES isn't hooked up right now, so it's on Switch, so I'll just go through there.
That's how I felt. I was like, I'm gonna sit here. We were watching TV, and I was like, I'm gonna sit here and play this after while we watch a movie or something. And that's the great thing about the Switch is I can just sit there and play it on the couch and it doesn't bother anybody.
Yeah, I'll take it and I'll go into our bedroom and I'll lay in bed and play it while she's watching something, and it's great.
Yeah.
So we posed a challenge to each other to see who.
How long to beat the first dungeon?
Yes. So what was your time?
My time on the first dungeon, I've got 2 times. Okay, and I got a little bit of a story with it, if you will. Okay. I was trying to look for the screenshot. I can't find the screenshot. I did it in about 28 minutes to beat the first dungeon. But that's just because I spent probably 15 minutes trying to find the first dungeon. I could not remember where it was. I went to dungeon 3. I went to dungeon 2. I went to, I think, dungeon 4, the one that's in that's hidden. You got to like burn the bush. It's next to the fairy garden. I think that's the 4th one.
That's 8, I think.
Is that 8? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I went there and I burned all the bushes and it didn't appear. And I was like, okay, so it's not this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was running all over the map trying to find it, and finally I stumbled across it, but it took me a while. So then I go up and I go into the dungeon, work my way through it, get all the way to the end, and beat the villain. Sorry, let me back up. Before I got to the end, I hit the bow, and I got the bow, and I was like, I need to buy arrows for this. So then I had to go back out and then hit all the merchants looking for arrows. And I finally found the merchant that sells arrows, but he wanted 80 rupees for the arrows, and I only had like 60 something. So then I got to just sit here and just slay away at all these mobs till I get 80 and grind it out. Yeah, getting some rupees. Circle back around. I go back in, run up the level, up the different levels, or up the different rooms in the level. And then I take out that dragon in like 2 arrow strikes, or I think it was like 3 arrow strikes. It was so quick. And I had like a half a heart, and I did it, and it was so quick. Then it was over, and I beat it, and it was like 28 minutes. Yeah. So I thought, I know I could have beaten this a lot quicker. So I reset the game, and I started over, knowing where to go. And at first I spent about 2 or 3 minutes, and I was grinding it out, just like hitting rupees. I was like, this is going to take me forever. I'm going to spend 10 minutes just trying to get these 80 rupees for the arrows before I get there. And I thought, you know what? I don't even need the arrows. So I ran to the level, ran through the dungeon, got to the dragon, and just ran up to him and just bashed him with the sword repeatedly and took him out. It was so quick. And that time it was 13 minutes and change.
Nice.
So much faster. So to anybody picking it up for the first time, you don't need the arrows. No. But they do help.
You don't. Now, the thing I don't like about the arrows in this game is that they
cost rupees.
They cost rupees. The other games, it's like, oh, here, you can buy 15 or 20 arrows. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But now it's like,
I guess they cost rupees in that way too, but not as much.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not 1 rupee per arrow.
Yeah. So
how long did it take you?
7 minutes and 58 seconds.
Wow. You just ran straight to it, didn't you?
I remembered where it was at. Yeah. So I just went up there and I did go through the dungeon though, because I couldn't remember what the equipment was that you got in that dungeon. Yeah. I mean, you get 2 things in there. You get your bow, and then you get
boomerang
the
boomerang and the bow.
Yeah. So,
but you don't need either one of those to beat it.
You don't.
And I was playing it like it was one of the Zeldas that comes later, where you like, or not Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening, where you have to get the specific weapon to take out the specific dungeon in the specific order. But this one you don't. Like it's a lot more open world.
There are There are a few dungeons. I think it's the fourth dungeon. You have to have the raft to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like you were saying, there's that one with the candle where you've got to burn the bush, which are actually, I pulled up the manual online, and they're supposed to be trees, but I've always thought they were bushes. I guess it's just the limitations of the technology.
Well, I think it's because you've got the little green, what looks like a bush, and then you have big brown trees that take up like 4 squares.
Yep.
So you would assume those are bushes because they're smaller.
Yep. Yeah. And that manual is it's something else.
It's amazing.
So did you know that you can, I was reading through the manual, and apparently there's a section playing with a friend. I was like, oh really? This is 2-player. And I'll read it to you. It says playing with a friend in like a bold headline. And then that says take turns. It says at the end of your game, select save or retry and press start. Your friend can start a game using a different Link character. The start of a different game. Always store the game in memory and turn off the power supply to the unit. It kind of flows together really weird.
You got to do the hold reset and press power when you turn it off too. Otherwise you fry out your memory.
Yep.
I remember
Which
that.
none of us did.
There were like, what, 3 save slots in the game?
Yeah.
Maybe 4. Mm-hmm. I remember back at our aunt's house, there was always a save slot for you, a save slot for me, and a save slot for our cousin.
Yep.
One of us always had one going on there at least.
Yes. Yep. And if Aunt Kathy had one on there, she named everything Bilbo because she loved The Hobbit. And I remember that. But, do you remember the first time you played this game?
I think it was at Aunt Kathy's house. Yeah.
Was it at Aunt Kathy's house?
I believe so, yeah.
I think mine was too. Like, I remember.
I think she got it for me, but.
Oh, did she? Okay.
I remember playing it at her house. I don't remember playing it much anywhere else. Mm-hmm. But I know that, like, she would get us games occasionally, and I'm pretty sure she got us that one. I remember one birthday I got Dragon Warrior in the mail from her. And I remember having that one. And I want to say I had Zelda. I had to have. I mean, I remember playing it so much, but I don't remember. I can't remember all the games I had specifically, but I'm pretty sure I had that one.
I remember having that in my own personal collection. I don't know where I got it from, but I remember having that. Legendary Wings and Rygar were like my 3.
Rygar.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Rygar's got to go on the list. I forgot about Rygar.
We'll have to do an episode on Rygar. Yeah, but I remember like the first time I played that, we'd go over to her house and she had 2 TVs set up. Do you remember that?
Side by side, yeah.
Yes, so you could
watch a movie
and
play a game.
And my mind was blown. I'm like, what is this? Like, how do you... I've never seen that. Or
we could play 2 games at once.
Yes.
Like we could each play a game.
Yep.
It was awesome. That was the way to do it.
I remember getting on
She was an innovator.
She was. Yeah. And she started me out, I think, with the original Super Mario Brothers. And then kind of when I got the hang of that, then she kind of just let me run loose on whatever I wanted to play. And I remember popping this one in and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I played it a little bit and then I don't think I played it for a while after that. I don't think I went back to it till after when she got her Super Nintendo and got A Link to the Past.
Oh yeah.
And then I went back after I played that.
That was a good one.
It wasn't till like I was in my 20s or something when I actually finished this game.
Yeah. So. The first time I beat it, I made a deal with myself and I had it on the I got it for the what was the last Nintendo? The Wii U. So they had it on the Wii U eShop. I got it on the Wii U eShop and I told myself, because I wanted to buy the Switch. And I was like, I can't buy the Switch because I wanted Breath of the Wild. And I said, I won't buy the Switch until I've beat the original Zelda. And I've proven to myself that I want to play this game. For whatever reason, that was my deal with myself. And that was the first time I beat it. was so I could get myself the
Yes.
Switch. Of course, I'm an adult. I could have just gone out and bought the Switch, but I had to set that rule for myself.
Yes. Yeah, I remember going through it. Like it was after Skyward Sword came out, because they had like a big 25th anniversary or something of all the Zeldas. Then like that was the 25th anniversary, and I was on my Wii, not my Wii U, and I ended up buying it off of their whatever their eShop was or whatever, and played it through there. And because I was like, oh, I'm going to go through and play all the Zeldas, and I did that one, and then I think I got halfway through Link's Awakening, and then I gave up. I mean, I've played several other ones. I've just not played all of them.
Yeah. But, did you ever play the re-release they did on the Game Boy Advance? That was my reintroduction to it. No. They released it on the Game Boy Advance. They had a little cartridge for it, and that was the first time I picked it up again since I was a kid and I had an NES. But yeah, that's kind of like that. Kind of pulled me back into the Zelda franchise. Was picking that up on the DS, or was it the Game Boy Advance there?
Game Boy Advance, yeah.
Yeah, they had that, and they had a couple of the Mario Brothers games and something else.
Remember that.
They did a few like the classic NES lines. They released them.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
So how long did you continue playing for after you beat the dungeon?
I got through the third dungeon.
That's where I stopped too.
yeah. And like I said, I wanted to keep going, but it was like I played it a whole bunch Saturday, and then Sunday was the Super Bowl. So, we went over to family's house and watched that. And by the time that was over with, and then we've just been busy. We've had stuff going on with the kids. Most nights this week, so I just haven't been able to really pick it back up. But I plan on it. I'm gonna finish this game again because it is.
There you go.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. That's the thing. I think the thing that it's, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not as accessible, I don't think, as the other Zelda games, just because of.
Oh yeah, you can get turned around pretty easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can get overwhelmed pretty easily too, in some with the arrows flying in all the different directions. Mm-hmm. That can become quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think my issue that I had with it in this revisit is once you beat the game and you start a new game, it changes the map.
Yes.
And I think I played it a lot on the second map because I was always playing on Aunt Kathy's game card, or on her cart of the game on the old NES, and she had beaten the game. So I think every new game you start after that, the map is different. And I think I'm remembering the map as that second map whenever I go back through and I play it. Because I want to say that first dungeon is where the third one is whenever the map reboots. Okay. And that's why I keep going there thinking that's the first one.
I don't think I haven't played it back and played through it like that.
No, I don't think I've played it all the way through on that second map. And that's actually, that would be a goal of mine, is to beat it and then beat it the second map. And I have that game started on my Switch after I beat it again like a year or two ago. And I started the second map with the goal of I'm going to beat the second map. But then I think they released one of the Zelda games. I think it was the Windfish. What's that one? The one from the Game Boy.
That's the one Link's Awakening that you were talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I picked that up and I played that and I forgot about it and never came back to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But I got to say, those bosses are so much easier than the mobs. Like the general mobs are way harder than the bosses. Like especially the knight that runs around with the sword, and you can't attack him from the front. You can only attack him from the back. Yep. He's so hard. He's a boss.
They're
and
terrible.
They'll put like 4 of them in the room.
Yes. And like I remember there's one of the old men that you can go into one of the rooms, and he says something about finding the white sword. Well, you can't get to the dang white sword until you get the ladder.
Well, I got
you had to cross a river.
No,
did you get the white sword?
Up, well, I went and I found it. So you go up the mountain. And then, there's that part where she's like, go up, up, up the mountain to get through that looping mountain section. And you keep going up that, and then it's right up there. And so there's a little door, you go in there, and he's got the sword, but he says, to use this, you must master it. And I was like, great. So I run over and I go to grab it, and you can't pick it up yet. I don't know at what point you can pick it up. You have to, I guess you have to have some certain ability. Maybe you need the ring. I can't remember.
It might be that blue ring or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that may be the only ring in the game. I can't remember. But,
I think it is.
Is it? Yeah.
I mean, I know there's like a blue and a red one in some of the other ones. I can't remember if it was in this first one. I'm pretty sure there's a blue and a red candle in the first one.
There is.
And that's why I couldn't burn the bush, because you need the red one to burn the bushes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So, no, because I was doing the difference is the red one will allow you to burn more than once while you're on the screen. So if you've got the blue one, you have to leave and then come back. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. Like the game, like we're saying in our intro, there's no tutorials. Like the only thing I saw is if you read through the manual, at the end of the manual, it tells you what to do to get to the first dungeon, and then then it lets you go. Because you could theoretically start out at the beginning of that and
not
then
get the sword.
Not even get the sword.
Yeah.
You just walk straight up. What's this black hole over here? I don't want to go in that.
How do I
That's
keep
scary.
dying?
Yeah. Just how
things
do I
cost
fight
rupees. How do I get rupees?
Yes. And that's the other thing. Like you were saying with the rupees, you gotta freaking grind so much for those rupees. It's like you get worth one or I think 5.
1 or 5, yeah.
Oh my god!
And it doesn't drop. It's not guaranteed. You maybe get 1 drop per screen.
Yes.
And it seems like every time I've got full hearts, they're dropping hearts left and right. And then whenever I get hit and I need a heart, they're not dropping any more hearts.
Yes. And I thought about suggesting that we title this episode "Buy Something, Will Ya?" Because every time you go to one of those, vendors, there's no second thing they say. It's always that guy.
Just buy
something, will you?
Is there buy something or what was it? The one where she's like, give me some rupees or something.
Yes. Yep.
I like buy something.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So like you were talking about how the bosses are so easy, and like I think it was the second dungeon. It was that Dongo boss, that dinosaur looking thing.
Just throw bombs at him.
Throw a bomb at him and stab him. Like I threw 2 bombs at him, stabbed him once, and he was gone. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I think I just kept surrounding him with bombs, and he was taken out so quickly.
Yeah. I'm like, how I play as I was playing this. I'm like, how did I have such a difficult time as a kid with this? But I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's as accessible as the other ones. Just it's definitely fun, and it's worth. Everybody needs to play through it. But like Link to the Past or whatever, it's more you can't get to this dungeon if you don't have the weapon from dungeon 1 and so on and so forth.
I'll tell you the one I've been working on. That's what I've been this Game & Watch here. That's what I've been sitting here playing whenever I get a few minutes. I'm sitting at my desk.
Yep.
I've been working on Zelda 2.
Okay.
Or Link, whatever they call it.
Link's Awakening. Or no, that's not it.
I think it's just
Adventure of Link. Yeah.
Adventures of Link. Yeah. That is hard.
I
haven't figured out how to do anything on that game yet. I'm not looking up tutorials or anything. I'm trying to figure it out, but man.
Yep. Yeah,
that is a hard one.
They expected you in these games to read the manuals. You know, and most kids when they got these, I want to play a game. I don't want to read a book, so you just pop the cartridge in and play. Yeah. And I don't know, like I was looking up online trying to just see what a manual would cost or something for these. And they're hard to find.
Oh, yeah. They're hard because they got destroyed.
Yep.
They did not get held on to. It's like complete in box sets, man. You can't find them.
Yep.
Genesis is a little easier to find them on, but those Nintendo ones, those are hard to find.
Yeah, they sure are. Yeah. But,
So what was the most difficult mob boss you think you faced? Not a main. Well, I guess you could include the main bosses if you want, but of all the mob bosses you came up against, which one was probably the most difficult?
It's like you were saying, those knights.
Those knights.
Those knights when they throw so many
The
in
sea
the
monster.
room.
That sea monster was vicious.
Yes,
you can't do anything about him.
Yeah, you know,
And he just seems to find you.
Even the blobs, like you throw, if you can throw a boomerang at them, and the big ones split.
Split.
But then they move so quickly, and there's no rhyme or reason which direction they're going to move. You can walk up and try to stab them, and there's like a half-second frame of you going to stab, and they move within that frame, and then you're like, and then they, and if you get 3 or 4 of them popped, and you got 10 of these things, or whatever.
You got to be strategic about how you do it.
Yes.
And I noticed whenever I would stab the blobs, the little drops, they didn't spawn on that specific tile. They'd spawn on me almost always. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to hit them from a distance. Otherwise they would. They just tended to spawn right in your spot. So you'd want to hit them from a distance for sure.
That's
the boomerang.
Yep, that's the easiest way to do it. And same with the bats. The bats will move around everywhere, and I think those are the only 2 enemies you can kill with the boomerang. I could be wrong.
I think so, yeah.
But I think that's right. But those knights, man, when they put, like they drop you in a room, and it's like, what's that?
The blue ones especially.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yes, and then you go in the room, and it's like, here's 6 of them.
Yeah. Good luck.
Well, okay. When you're trying to, okay, I'm going to get behind them here. And then they turn around, or
and start running.
Yes. Yeah.
Just dink, 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 hitting that shield.
Yes. Just let me just get something in. Yeah.
It's got to be either those guys or what are they? The centaurs, the horse guys with the swords. And they'll shoot the swords at you.
Will. Yep. Yeah.
But at least they're not shielded in the front.
No, you can hit them
spin
anywhere.
Around too.
Yeah.
Are those the what's the one from is the Lionels? Are those Lionels?
Yeah,
is that those are supposed to be? Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Very cool.
I don't know if they had those. I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing those again until Breath of the Wild. But I'd have to go back, and it's been a while since I played any of those Zeldas.
I don't think I've seen the little squishy ball, or what are they? The
slimes.
Little the first screen you go up, the little red spiky guys that shoot
Octo Rocks or whatever they're called.
Oh, are those the Octo Rocks? Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. That was the original rendition of them. Yeah.
So you got those we see again. What about the little spider guys that jump around? Do we see those again?
Yeah, those are in the mountains, and then down by the shore on the south end of the map.
I don't remember those.
Yeah, they'll be either yellow or blue, and they jump around. Those are boogers to try to hit
them.
Yeah.
In Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you're talking about Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I've seen them in Zelda. Yeah.
I'm like, how did you miss those?
I hit those
right there.
No, you got the blue and the red ones. Oh, yeah, I hit those.
Yeah,
I was talking about their counterpart in either Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't seen them in that.
I don't. They're in Ocarina of Time. I remember.
Are they? Okay.
Yes, coming up Death Mountain. I think they're in. They're there, but I don't remember where. I don't know. It's like Nintendo will reuse. They won't reuse all those villains or all those creatures, and every single game they'll kind of, they'll pop up somewhere else. Like, oh yeah, I remember these things.
Yeah. Like the statues, I don't think I've seen those in anything else either. The move after you touch them or come to life, rather.
Yeah.
But like I said, I have a large Zelda gap from Super Nintendo to Switch. Really, I didn't play much of the ones in between.
Yeah, they're all good in their own way, but this one started it all,
That's right. It's the original.
Yep. It's what, like I said, I think everybody needs to go through and play it once, If you haven't played it, do yourself a favor. There's no shame in using a guide.
Right.
The first time I beat it, I used a guide because I was like,
the only shame is whenever you pause it and rewind it on the Switch.
yes, yeah, got the save states and everything in there. Those are a game changer, though, man.
They are.
I don't know. You say no. I say there's no shame in it. I don't know. You know, some of those old games are hard. You might as well just,
They are.
you know, just take a handicap if they're going to give it to you.
Oop.
You know, we suffered through enough when we were playing them originally. So
carpal tunnel with the tiny controllers.
Yes. Yeah.
Both physically and emotionally.
Yep.
Getting taunted by that dog every time you miss the shot.
Yes.
Well, what do you remember as probably the hardest dungeon? Or are they dungeons or levels? I think they're called levels, aren't they?
I think they call them levels in this. Yeah. I've been calling them dungeons, but oh man, I think it's probably that. I know it sounds silly. I think it was that last one because I think there's a lot of those Blue Knights and Lionels and everything.
I think you got to reface all the bosses, don't you?
Yes, you do. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I can't remember. Is that maybe there's like it goes up to level 8. I think you get the final piece of Triforce, and then you have to find the final dungeon level with Ganon. And it's like hidden. I think you have to blow open something somewhere. And that's the other thing about this game. It doesn't, you know, in the other Zelda entries, it's like, oh, this wall looks cracked.
It's got a crack.
I can bomb it. Yeah. This one's like, it looks the exact same as everything else. Just throw your bombs, throw them wherever you want. Yeah. But yeah, I think you go in there and then it's a boss rush to get to Ganon. I think that's right. You know,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's probably the most difficult.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, without a doubt. Did you ever notice the dungeon? So each of the dungeon maps are shaped, you know, like a serpent or a. And I was reading like somewhere. Yeah. Crescent Moon, Phoenix, I think.
Maybe. Crescent Moon is the second one.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere.
Well, I think it's a Boomerang, actually, the second one, because you get the Boomerang.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. I was reading somewhere that they all fit together. I don't know if you had seen that.
Oh, yeah. That's how in the code, they fit them all together to save space so they could put more to maximize the amount of the code that they had or what is it, accessible RAM or whatever, memory to the level. So yeah, like if you scrolled out all of the data from a game and just like rolled it out, those maps would all like fit together like a puzzle piece. Yeah. And they'd all be fit together on this one page or document. I don't know what they store them on, whatever art file it was that they use in the Nintendo, code.
Yeah.
It would just be all those scrolled together. I've seen online actual screen grabs of that. Like the people have like pulled the data off of the ROMs and they've loaded that out, and you'll see like you said, they're all kind of like together, and they'll be like, you know, the hidden areas are kind of like tucked into like certain spots. Like I want to say whenever playing that first level, it's like a phoenix or a bird or something is the shape. But if you look,
I think that's right.
One of the wings is missing its tip, and that's actually the dungeon that you go down in. Is that screen? Okay.
Interesting.
Or not the dungeon, but the underground area.
The underground part. Yeah. That's so. I think like. To me, it's super interesting with these older games how the limitations of the hardware they're using, they had to figure out how do I make this work? You know, now it's like, well, I mean, there's limitations to hardware, but I feel like
We just make it 150 gigs and you download it all.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You can have one game on your PS5 and that's it. That's it. Yeah. 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 I don't know. It's I really enjoy looking, or like reading stuff about that, like how they fix this problem over here, or like the NES could only show so many colors. I think it was like
so many sprites at a time.
Yeah.
Like if you notice, like whenever you get too many mobs on the screen, the frame rate gets all jittery.
Yep. And now, like something like that would happen on a game now. I mean, the internet would be up in arms. Like, oh my gosh. Look at this frame rate. It's so bad. It's only 30 FPS,
How dare they spend 7 years developing this and put out this trash?
Yes. Listen, we were lucky to have 1 frame per second when we were playing.
That's how it was. That's the Legend of Zelda, man. That's a classic for sure.
It is.
I enjoyed.
I had a lot of fun going back to it. So.
Yeah. I think it'd be really neat to do. I don't know how you would do it, but I want to see a co-op Zelda game, a Zelda game that you can play with somebody else.
They made one.
Did they?
4 Swords Adventures.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, you could
for the
hook up
your.
You could. What was it? Everybody had to have like a Game Boy and hook it up.
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah,
you could hook it up. Now I don't know. I think they re-released that. I'll have to do some research on that. I think they re-released it so that you didn't have to actually use
4 different Game Boys.
Yeah. I want to say it was like for maybe DS or 3DS or something like that. I'd have to double check, but we should definitely sometime try to play that. Try to find a copy of it and try to play it sometime. I don't. I'll do some research.
The Zelda games are notoriously expensive.
Oh yes, they are.
Yes, the resale market does not do well with them.
That's the thing, though. Like Nintendo's stuff, just like their IPs, just they hold their value so well. It's not like your PlayStation and your Xbox and all that stuff. You can. Most of those games, maybe not PlayStation 1 games, but most of those, PS2, PS3 titles or whatever, you can find them pretty easy. But you want an old Zelda game, man. Yeah.
Because like the new games, they're not even when you get a physical game now, it's not the game. It's a license to download the game, and you still got to put the disc back in the drive to play it.
Yep.
And it's like, why did I download 170 gigs to play this game only to have to keep putting the disc back in?
I know.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah. All we had was a cartridge. You just put it in. You buy the game. This is what it is.
No DLC.
There's flaws in it. We know there's flaws in it, but we had a deadline, and this is what you got.
They shipped it, and there we go.
Yep.
I gotta say, though, Nintendo didn't have a lot of like games that came out back then with errors. They shipped the game. I'd say 99% of the time they worked flawlessly.
Yeah.
I can't think of any games that had issues on the NES. I'm sure there were. I just can't think of what they were. Mm-hmm. Definitely not any of the AAA titles. Yeah,
well, like a lot of, I feel like the first party games from Nintendo were
thoroughly vetted.
Solid. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So yeah. Legend of Zelda. Like I said, I really enjoyed going back to it. We'll have to do like an Adventures of Link or something sometime, and maybe try to work our way through some of these Zeldas.
Just really play it out and see how far we can get on that one. Yeah. And definitely the Game Boy one we need to revisit.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening. I think that's on most people's in their top 3. If you're a Zelda fan, that's got to be in your top 3.
I have that. Like I've got the game pack of it.
Here
at the house.
The Game Boy one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they made a remake of it on Switch that was really good. They did the DX one for the Game Boy Color.
That's been remade several times. They remade it on the GameCube too, I think.
Did they? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Could be wrong. But I know they did the Game Boy DX. That was like the color version of it, and the graphics were slightly improved.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to say that one I think has been remade almost as much as the original on different, on the different Nintendo platforms. Now that's something I'd like to see. I'd like the way they treated that last remake. Whenever they released it on the Switch, they made it all 3D, cleaned it up, they made it look really polished.
It was gorgeous.
And yes, it was gorgeous. It's a great word. Yes, it was gorgeous. I would like to see them do that with this first one. I have not seen a good re-release remake of the first Zelda, and I think that'd be really awesome to see. It'd be really neat if like they did that as like a secret level or like a secret game within like Breath of the Wild, where you could play in the Breath of the Wild world and replay that first map essentially. In that 3D environment. That'd be really neat. Yeah.
It's like I feel like Nintendo right now, they've with the success of Breath of the Wild and with Tears of the Kingdom, and they're I don't see them anytime soon going back to a top-down Zelda, and that saddens me a little bit. They did they did like a what was it? It was a sequel to Link's Awakening, or to, gosh, I'm getting the names mixed up. A Link to the Past. It was a Link Between Worlds for 3DS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I think that was the last time. Well, then there's the Switch of Link's Awakening, I guess. But yeah, they just don't do the top-down ones anymore. Like I just want that again.
Even that re-release, that's not even really a true top-down. That's kind of at like a bit of a third person view, 2.5 something. Yeah, it's at a slight angle.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Something special about it like that. But.
Yeah. Those classic pixels.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
The pixels that made us.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what the title of the podcast should have been. The pixels
that made us. And then Netflix would be trying to sue us
steal us.
Yeah.
Well, what could have been? Here we are. All right. So, you got any final thoughts on Zelda?
Like I said, I keep saying it's a good game. Play it. If you've not played it, please go play it. And you will not
can find it on just about anything.
Yes. Anything you can imagine, it's there. So, yeah.
All right.
That's Zelda.
Well, that's Zelda. That's right. You're gonna, what is it? Don't go it alone, or what's the phrase?
It's dangerous to go alone.
It's dangerous to go alone. That's right. That's why I brought a partner in on this.
That's right. Right. So what are we doing next week?
Next week. That's right. Next week we'll be doing Ghostbusters, 1984 Ghostbusters. Yes. That'll be our next one for sure. Yes. And that's going to feed us right into bodacious 80s music, because Ghostbusters had a pretty solid soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that'll lead really nicely into episode 4 of music. And then we got your pick for number 5.
Yeah, so The Burbs.
The Burbs.
The Burbs, starring Tom Hanks, Corey Feldman, Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher. It's great. Great movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. It did not do well at the box office, but it's grown quite a following since then. So yeah, I got a lot to say about that one. It's
excellent.
It's great. It's great. Right, and I'll have to look for that episode to see why it didn't do well. I'm curious to see what other movies came out around that time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
we got some good stuff lined up. So
yeah, and then we'll flesh out the rest of the schedule as we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so that's a wrap on Link. That's a wrap on Zelda. Not Link. The Adventures or the Legend of Zelda. Who did Zelda make an appearance in this game? I can't remember.
She is at the end.
Very end?
Yes, after you defeat Ganon.
So you do get to see her. Okay.
You do get to see her.
So the title character spends about 3 frames on the screen. But
yes. Now, if you read through the manual, it tells you this whole story. It tells what's happened to her and all that. But again,
don't skip the reading.
Who read the manual? No, I didn't read the manual.
I didn't read the manual. No, yeah. I had Nintendo Power. What I need the manual for?
Yep, exactly.
All right. Until next week, we've reached another checkpoint. Don't forget to be kind, rewind, and we'll see you then.
That's it.